One.
Okay, so, hey YouTube, Thomas here, Team Bolshevik, kind of just profiling Crystal Beasts. It's a bit of an not unconventional, it's not neck decked or anything, it's just based on kind of a personal strategy, I guess.
Rainbow Dragon free.
Yeah, no Rainbow Dragon, more of an abundance OTK Heyman combo thing. First off, Triple Pegasus, obviously. Yeah, flip them upside down there. Want to summon back row any crystal beast you want from your deck, graveyard, hand. So you really don't have a whole lot of worrying to do with getting crystal beast in your back row with him. And then we've got our beaters. We've got triple mammoth and triple topaz. Topaz, when he attacks to another monster, gains 400 attack, so he's just good for clearing out the basics.
Trade us your ultis and your
any ulti crystal beast.
We want to bling out these crystal beast decks.
And mammoth is basically an attack magnet. If one of your crystal beasts gets attacked, say you've got a carbuncle that you've summoned in attack position, and your opponent attacks into it, you can redirect it to Amber Mammoth, which works really well when it's equipped with Crystal Release, because then it becomes a 2500 attack magnet, basically. So then, triple carbuncle, special summon it from anywhere, and your entire back row comes to your front row. Really just, if you get it in your first hand, it's pretty much an automatic set. Not a whole lot else to say about it, but it's definitely one of the best engines. And that's it for the actual crystal beasts in the deck. A lot of people criticize it for not having enough crystal beasts, right, Jordan?
Yep.
And so I do tend to run out occasionally, but it's not really an issue when I get the right cards out. I've got a Summoner Monk, good for special summoning Pegasus from the deck if I can't get anything out, because the spell to trap ratio is actually kind of imbalanced. I think I've got 3 more spells than I do monsters. So discarding spells is no problem, especially if you've you get a handful of spells really easily, and it's really unlikely for you to play more than one abundance in a duel. So usually you just discard that, activate Summoner Monk's effect, get a Crystal Beast. Anteater, clear out any 2 Crystal Beasts in your back row or Crystal Release, and basically he's just kind of like a permanent MST, because I don't actually run any in this deck. I don't think I do anyway. Hope I don't. Make a liar out of myself. And I've got Kuraz the Light Monarch. The basic point of him, you blow up 2 front row crystal beasts to move them to your back row, draw 2 cards for them. He wouldn't be able to attack that turn, but it's when he's normal or special summoned. So you can Monster Reborn him, bring him out, and then if you really want, you could synchro out with him. Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings, special summoner when you've got at least 3 basic continuous spells, which is what the Crystal Beasts are when they're in the back row. And when she attacks, she forces your opponent to discard 1, and you draw 1. So it's just basically really good for hand advantage. And when she's in the grave, the best part is you can just clear out 1 continuous spell from your back row to special summon her back. So just really versatile in that sense. Of course, you got Heyman, 4,000 attack beat stick, destroys an opponent's monster, inflict an extra 1,000. When he's in defense position, your opponent doesn't get a battle phase. It's a really good beater. And then I've got 2 tuners, Flag Spreader and Gale, which, universal tuners. Gale's really good for getting at 7s, like Zeman the Ape King. Flag Spreader, really good with Anteater for getting at 7s, and with Kuraz for getting at 8s. And because Crystal Beast has such a large hand advantage, Flag Spreader's effect really comes into play a lot. So of course, the main objective of the deck is to 1-turn kill with Crystal Abundance. You send 4 Crystal Beasts in your back row to the grave, and that sends everything on the field to the grave, not destroys, so it's immune to Stardust. Stardust isn't immune to it. And then you special summon the same number of Crystal Beasts as the number of cards your opponent controls, so it's the game winner of the deck. Then I've got Triple Crystal Blessing. If you ever get into a situation where you have nothing in your back row and an abundance in your hand, but all your Crystal Beasts are in your grave, play 2 of these, 4 Crystal Beasts in your back row, and you play your abundance and try to get for game. That's pretty much it for that. Beacon, if you've got at least 2 Crystal Beasts in your back row, usually it's going to be within the first 3 turns. If you can get this card out, usually you'll have probably a Pegasus or 2 there. So then you would activate that special summon Carbuncle. That would push your 2 Pegasus to the front row, giving you an extra 2 in your back row, usually like Mammoth or Topaz, whatever's left in your deck, pretty much. Crystal Release is an equip card, plus 800. When this card is sent to the graveyard, back row any Crystal Beast you want. So you can set both of them face down and clear them out for Anteater and get their effect. Double Ancient City. It's got a crap load of effects, depending on the number of Crystal Beasts in your back row. If you've got 1, it can't be destroyed by card effects. 2, once per turn you can half the battle damage you take. 3, you can negate the activation of any spell or trap your opponent controls by sending a Crystal Beast monster to the grave. 4, you can draw 1 extra card per turn, which is a big part of the hand advantage that this deck gets. And for 5, you can once per turn you can special summon a back row Crystal Beast to the front, and 90% of the time that's going to be a Carbuncle. So then we've got Crystal Promise, just 1 of this one. Special summon 1 Crystal Beast from your spell and trap zone. Usually again either Carbuncle or Pegasus. Got pretty much the main draw engine of the deck, rare value. I'd like to be able to get a second one, so if anyone out there has one,
check the trade binder.
Contact. Basically, if you've got at least 2 Crystal Beasts in your back row, your opponent selects 1, sends it to the grave, and then you can draw 2 cards. And the last direct Crystal Beast support I've got is Crystal Tree. It's a continuous spell, so you can mill it off for Heyman or special summon Dragon Queen if you've got it out. Every time a Crystal Beast monster is put in your back row, it gets a counter, and then you can send it to the graveyard and back row the same number of crystal counters, or back row the same number of Crystal Beasts on it as there are counters on the card. So if you've got more than 4, well, there's not really a whole lot you can do, but you can easily fill out your back row by getting it full of counters. And then it's just pretty much basic support from here. Reborn, Dark Hole, pretty obvious. Dark Hole works because you can destroy your front row Crystal Beasts to back row them, and then use something like Carbuncle, push everything to the front, and attack for game. Torrential, same thing as Dark Hole. Bottomless, good, just getting rid of the opponent's
obvious
monsters. Mirror Force, and of course Dark Brood. So I'm looking at if I can get my hands on a Solemn or anything like that, replacing Dark Brood, but that's if I can get one. So again, like rare value.
Do you side deck with this deck at all?
Occasionally, yeah. I do.
Any side deck tech choice out of the ordinary?
Out of the ordinary, not really. Occasionally, I use Elector, Sovereign of Birds, just because I can. I use Consecrated Light a lot because it only runs 3 dark types. Dragon Queen and the 2 tuners, not to mention, and whatever I have in synchros.
With so many special summoning requirements, do you find that you get dead draws or?
Not really. There was one time I drew, I think, Kuraz, Heyman, Anteater. Like I basically just drew everything that I had needed to be special.
Well done, Thomas.
Yeah, and it wasn't fun, but
and no Rainbow Dragon. Why?
No Rainbow Dragon because I just don't like using the other Crystal Beast.
Awesome.
I just don't find them all that useful. And the extra deck, of course, I seem to have left at home, which is stupid on my part, but oh well. Basically, it's just basically it's all the staples. The only difference is Zeman the Ape King.
Okay, so
that's
the deck. Team Bolshevik out.